Hi Jatin, if you could share your first screen and start the recording, please.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hi, good morning and good evening, everyone. This is Brijesh from Tech Canvas. I'll be hosting this session for you all today. So first of all, I would request everyone to keep your mics on mute and keep your cameras also off. And we'll have the question answers session at the end of this webinar. So you can ask your questions there. So let's start the session with a small introduction about Tech Canvas. So we are an IT certification training organization for mid-level professionals, wherein we help our aspirants in cracking their certification exams in their first attempt. So being an authorized training center for IIBA Canada and ISQA Germany, we offer certification trainings at Tech Canvas, starting from ECBA, CCBA to CBAP, and Agile Analysis Certification, that is AAC, and CBDA certification, that is certification in data, business data analytics. Tech Canvas is also a PMI authorized training center for PMP certifications, and we have a multiple domain courses as well. They are into banking, finance, healthcare, and many others. All right, so let me introduce you all to our today's speaker also, Mr. Jatin Ajmera. So Jatin is a CBAP certified and IBM data science with more than 11 years of experience in IT and banking industry. He has proficiencies in domains like core banking, investment banking, credit risk, and ATM. Jatin has worked in different roles like business analyst, solution designer, team leader, developer, and tester. All right, so I would now request Jatin to begin the session from here. Thanks everyone and good luck.
Thanks, Brijesh. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Jatin.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you everyone for joining for today's session. Today we'll be covering one of the very important knowledge areas of IIBA exams, which is part of Babok, which is requirement analysis and design definition. Before we start the session, let's see how important this knowledge area is. Okay, if you see, this is the weightage. There are 6 knowledge areas which are part of Babok, and this is the 5th one, which is requirement analysis and design definition. And if you see the weightage, it has the highest weightage among all the knowledge areas. So looking into the importance with respect to exam point of view, the highest. And coming back to the actual knowledge area of this knowledge area out of all these 6, this is important because as a business analyst in this knowledge area, you do several things on requirements and design and make key decisions for your project. Because based on your decision, your project will go ahead and get implemented and reach to the customer. So it is very important that as a business analyst, you take some correct decisions, because if we have a bad decision, then it can alter your project.
Jatin, just to break you, I hope this meeting is recorded.
Yes,
so that
yes.
We can get. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Recording is started.
Yes, Preeti, it is getting recorded.
Okay. Thank you.
I would request Siddhant to keep his mic mute actually. Yeah. Thanks. All right, Jatin.
Yes. So we'll continue. So yeah, I was talking about the importance on the exam point of view, it's 30%, and on the knowledge area perspective, as a business analyst, you work on requirements and design of your project, and also make some key decisions for the management to make help them to make some decisions for their product or before the launch of the product. So that's the reason it has the highest importance out of the entire 6 knowledge areas. Frankly speaking, if you go in detail on this knowledge area, it would at least take 3 to 4 hours probably if we go into each and every task and each and every element of this knowledge area. But since we just have 1 hour or a little bit more than 1 hour, it's difficult to go in much detail. So what I will do is I will give you a real life example, a real life project, and I will help you to relate all the tasks which are taken care within this knowledge area, so that on a high level, you know what type of task as a business analyst needs to perform. Then once you join Tech Canvas on a course, then it can be explained in a more detail. Someone has pinged, maybe Brijesh. Maybe if we can have all the Q&A sessions later on.
Yeah, of course,
Okay.
I mean.
Yes. Okay, so let's move ahead. I would request everyone to just have a look at this case study. Okay, based on this case study, I will help you understand the task on a high level, what all task a business analyst will do, so that you can relate it with the real life projects. So let's read the case study. So one motor company, Rio Motors, wants to launch an electric car into the Indian market. And this is the first of its type. Till now, India is not having any electric cars. So Rio Motors is the first company who has decided to launch an electric car into the market. Management is excited because it's a unique business which is going to enter into the market. So they have asked designer and analyst to produce a plan and design detail. And management is also interested in the potential value and revenue. Of course, because as a company, you also have to launch a product, but also have to gain a value out of it, a revenue or something else. Okay, so just understand this case study. There is a disturbance again. I would request everyone to please keep their mic on mute. Thank you. So yeah, just understand this case study. I will help you relate with the task. Again,
Ankita, could you please keep your mic on mute?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so just understand this case study, and I will help you to relate with the task. So let's move on to the task of yes. So in this knowledge area, there are 6 tasks. One is specify and model requirements. Second is verify requirements. Third is validate requirements. Fourth is define requirements architecture. Fifth is define design options. And sixth is analyze potential values and recommend solution. If we talk about the entire knowledge area, if you see the middle column, there are 6 tasks which are mentioned over there, which we just had a look. On the left hand side, there are all the inputs which goes into this knowledge area. And on the right hand side, there are all the outputs which come out of this knowledge area once a business analyst perform these tasks. So we will look at it in more detail further. Let's first go through the first task, which is part of this knowledge area, that is specify and model requirements. If you focus on 2 words, specify and model. Specify means as a business analyst, you have to write the requirements, and model means you have to create a diagram or a visual perspective of your requirements. That is a design. Okay, so just focus on 2 things, specify and model. That means you have to write it and model it. That is on a diagram or visual perspective. The purpose of this task is to analyze, synthesize, and refine elicitation results. Okay. Now, what this means? Before this task, there were 4 knowledge. Before this task or before this knowledge area, there were 4 knowledge areas. Okay. And for that, you have already done some work for this project. That is, the management has told that we have to launch a car into the Indian market, the electric car. So we started the project. You started meeting several stakeholders, got all. Not able to listen? Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Yeah, just
Okay.
it's fine.
Someone had just pinged me that I'm not audible. Okay, let's continue. So out of the 6 knowledge areas, this is the 5th knowledge area. And for the first 4 knowledge areas, you have already done some work. You have already met some stakeholders, got all the requirements, got everything detailed which is required for the project. And now you have to write the requirements. You have to write it and model it. Okay, so that's the purpose of this task. So if you see the input, that is elicitation results. Elicitation results means whatever you have discussed with stakeholders, whatever information you have got from documents, stakeholders, and any other sources, all these type of information is called as elicitation result. And once you perform this task, you get a requirements which is specified and modeled. Okay. As I said, there are 2 focus words, specify and model. Specify means you have to write it. Model means you have to visualize or create a visual picture type of thing which is visible to the stakeholders. I will help you with one thing. Okay, I have created one requirement sheet for this project, that is electric car. Okay, if you see the left hand side, it's a need, I want to enter electric vehicle business. Now the business requirement is to develop an e-car. Okay, stakeholders, there were few stakeholders who wanted to give their own preferences. So one stakeholder said car should have a good battery capacity, and the second said that car should have a good features, security features. And based on that, we have defined functional requirements, non-functional requirements, and some test case. So okay, so now I have created this picture. Now what this picture is, it's a requirements. It's a set of requirements. So that's what is the first element over here, model requirements. If you see model requirement, there are two parts. One is matrices and one is diagram. As I said, there are 2 words, specify and model. Specify means you have to write it. That's what I have written over here. I have created a matrix. I have created a matrices, or I have created a matrix which will define all the requirements which are required for my project to launch an e-car. Okay, diagrams. I can create some diagrams as well. If I show you, this could be, as a business analyst, it's not directly your job to create some diagrams. You can take help of designers which are in your organization. So you can create some pictorial view of what all things would be there in your car. Something like this one. Something like this. Something like this. This. And end state, you see that. Okay, let's take all the question and answers later on. I am getting some chats in between, so let's take some question and answers later on. I will definitely come back to those. So as a business analyst, you have to write those requirements, that is specify the requirements, and also you have to design it like this one. So you have to create some options or several designs which will be part of your project. Okay, so first element is model requirement. It says that matrices and diagrams are used to model your requirements. It can be that you have to model people and roles as well. If you have seen, there are organization charts as well. I have it one. This type of chart where at a higher level there is a CEO, then directors, and then project managers. So you can model any type of thing. As a business analyst, it's not that you should not do these specific things. It's a part of a business analyst activity that you have to write the requirements, you have to design the requirements, create designs, and also you have to model the people and the roles which are involved. There also the rationale. Rationale means why we are doing this project. Activity flow, like how the car will be developed. Capability. Capability means what all capabilities will be there into the car. If I show you the second sheet of the requirements, these are the functional requirements. That is example. If you focus on this one, safety features of a car. So for safety features, we have anti-theft device, airbags, crash management, and generic. And anti-theft, we have anti-theft alarm device, and these are some of its attributes. So you have to show what all capabilities are there of your product, and all the data and the information. So whatever we have filled in the Excel sheet, that's all data and the information. In this task, you also have to analyze the requirements. Analyze the requirements because using this, you can discover all the missing requirements, the requirements which are extra, which is not required. You can also mention the constraints or the limitations or assumptions. Example, this is the spreadsheet or the metrics which a business analyst has developed for designing for the project of launching an e-car. If a business analyst has not done this job, then probably he might miss something. Example, if we delete this part, then the safety aspect is not there. So if you create a dashboard or create a metrics, then you know, oh, I have missed the safety aspect. Let's add that as well. And you get the clear picture that whatever things are required for a car, have I mentioned it over here. So using that, you analyze your requirements and see that whether something is missing or something is redundant, which is not required. Example, for an e-car, we don't need something which is part of a car which is run on petrol or diesel or a gas. Okay, so our scope is just to develop e-car only. The third element is the requirements and attributes. You have to, as a business analyst, you have to mention the high-level requirements and its attributes. Okay, so as I said, this is the requirement. Now, our goal is to create an e-car. So for that, there are several requirements. I have to add an engine. I have to take care of the fuel. I have to take care of the safety. I have to take care of the interior and exterior of a car. Okay, now this is the requirement, that is safety. If I drill down on a branch level, that is I decompose it, the high level requirement to a low level. If you see the heading, level 1, level 2, and its values. Anti-theft, airbags. Okay, now let's see the safety and go to the airbags. From airbags, how many airbags are there? 2. Do the driver has the airbag? Yes. Passenger also? Yes. Are the side airbags present? No. Okay, so these are the values. So these are this column is the requirement and this column is the values or the attributes. Okay, so as a business analyst, you have to design a full picture with requirements and its attributes as well. And the fourth element is levels of abstraction. Abstraction means out of the entire metrics, not each and every stakeholder is interested in the entire thing which you have created. One stakeholder says that I am only interested in the safety aspect of the car. So you create an abstract of these requirements and create it into a separate sheet for that particular customer only or stakeholder only, and show it to them that yes, this is the requirements which is based on safety features only, what you are interested. Okay, so we create an abstract of our entire work just for a particular stakeholder or a particular type of requirement what they are interested in. Okay, so clear, this is the task to specify and model requirements. Specify means write the requirements into a particular format or a matrix, and model means something like this one, something which is visible, something which you can show it to your management and explain them what you have done for this project. Now these are some of the guidelines which a business analyst should use during the project. One is the modeling or standards. Okay, as if you are working in a car company, there would be some standards related to it, that you have to work in this particular manner only. So you have to take care of that. There are modeling tools. There are several modeling tools into the market. There are several softwares which helps you to make several diagrams. There are MS Visio and several other tools using which you can create some diagrams or prototypes, which is very much self-explanatory and visible, and you can show it directly to the management. Third is the requirements architecture. If you see, this is the entire architecture which we have created. We have created a matrix, and matrix is the requirement architecture. Fourth is requirement lifecycle management tools. There, since you work into some organization, there would be some tool where all the requirements and all the information related to projects are stored. So there would be some repository. So you have to use those repositories. And fifth is the solution scope. Again, our solution scope is limited. We have to focus only on e-car, the electric car, not on the cars which run on petrol, diesel, not on motorbikes, not on aeroplanes. So we have a limited scope. We have to play within our boundary itself. These are the techniques. There are several techniques which it will take hours to discuss all these techniques, but I won't go each and every technique in more detail. I will just focus on one technique, that is functional decomposition. If you see over here, functional decomposition. Functional decomposition is one that you have a high level requirement and you break it into small requirements. You make from a tree, you make some branches out of it. So this one, if you see, this is the high level requirement, that is safety. The low level, one level down, that is anti-theft requirements, airbags, crash management, generic. One level down, this one, and one level down, this one. So there are several techniques which a business analyst can use to perform this task. Okay, so to specify and model require. Stakeholders. Why any stakeholders? Now, there are several stakeholders. We have domain SME, implementation SME, operational support, suppliers, and there are some, I think, 8 to 10 stakeholders which are involved, which are mentioned in Babok. Okay. So why all stakeholders? Because this work of business analyst, which is to specify and model requirement, is not matured yet. You have to keep on improving and improving your work. That is, you have to keep on improving your metrics. You have to keep on improving your design and show it to the customer. Okay. So you have so not show it to the customer, not you have to show it to the stakeholders and the management. So you have to constantly be in touch with them and involve them with and show them their work. You have to make them involved, get their opinions as well. Okay, that's why you, as a business analyst, you can involve any stakeholder in this task. Is it clear? Any specific question? Okay. Okay, thank you. Let's move ahead. Verify requirements. Okay. As I said, as I mentioned in the first or second slide, the second task was verify requirement and third task was validate requirement. People normally get confused between verify requirement and validate requirement. So I will make it clear. What do you mean by verify requirements? Okay. The purpose of verify requirement is all the requirements and designs which we have done in our previous task. We have to check the quality standards of those of our work and see that is it ready to use for our project. Okay. As a business analyst, it is important to do your work, but it is also important to do a very good quality work. It should not that if a substandard metrics is created or a substandard design is created and you directly take to your management. It should be of a very good quality, the standards which are followed within your organization. Okay, so that's the reason this task is there, that is to verify requirement. Verify requirement is that you check your work which you have done till now with respect to the requirements or design, whether it meets the standards which is expected from you, all the quality standards. So if you see the input, it is requirement specified and modeled. That is the output of our previous task. Okay, the output of our previous task is used over here. Whatever work which we have done till now, we have to verify it. And that's why if you see the output, it is requirements verified. Okay. Now, I will explain to you in a very simple way on what basis you are going to check the quality standards. Okay. If you see this sheet, okay. If you see this sheet, if you see the engine and transmission, this is the high level requirement. This is one level low requirement. The second level does not exist. And these are the values. Okay. So if you see fast charging, it's present. The charging time, 0 to 80%, it takes 60 minutes to charge. Okay, what is the battery capacity? This much. What is the range? 312 kilometer. Okay, so I have created this requirement. Suppose in range, I see that instead of kilometer, I have just written 312 meters. So that means something is wrong. The range cannot be just 300 meter for a car. Okay, so I have to see that whether I have specified the values properly. Okay, something charging time. It's normally the charging time is 60 minutes for an e-car. If I instead of minutes, I have added hours. Okay, so something is wrong. Okay, something is wrong over there. So I have to check all those type of quality standards, whether I have met all the quality. Instead of motor power, I have not mentioned power. I have just mentioned motor. So just by looking at the word motor, I don't know what it is. Okay, so I have to check all those type of quality standards, whether I have made these type of errors or not. And if I have made this type of error, or a business analyst has made these type of errors, we have to rectify it. Okay, so we have to check the work which we have done till now and see whether everything is meeting the quality standards or not. Okay, so let's go into much detail of what are the basis or what are the pointers which you have to keep in mind. Okay, so if you see the first column, there are some 8-9 characteristics which are mentioned. So you have to verify your work based on these characteristics or based on these categories. So first is atomic. What do you mean by atomic? Atomic means it is self-contained and capable of being understood independently of any other requirements of designs. Okay, example, this safety, it should be understandable to each and everyone, irrespective of what you have mentioned in engine and transmission. Okay, it should be self-explanatory, easy to understand. Second is complete. Of course, since we are working in a project, we have to keep our work up to date, complete. It should not be that there should be any errors. Okay, if I'm designing a car and I forgot to write I forgot to write requirements based on for exterior. Okay, so if I have this sheet, this is not complete. I have not mentioned anything with respect to exterior, because the exterior body of a car is very important. So that's the reason I have to see whether my work is complete or not. Third is consistent. Of course, our work should be consistent, and it should not create any confusion for anyone who is reading, who is referring to our work. Fourth is concise. Concise means it should have a precise amount of information. It should not have any extra information, or it should not have any unnecessary content as well. Feasible. Of course, feasibility is very important. Management has given us a time of 6 months that you have to launch a car within this 6 months with a specified budget. Okay, so it's a business analyst job that you have to create your requirements and design in such a way that it is feasible to meet those timelines, cost related things, everything. It should be feasible to launch a product within those parameters which is set by the management. Next is unambiguous. Unambiguous, it means it is not clearly mentioned. It is very easy to create confusion using those requirements or design. Next is testable. Of course, once a car is developed, it will be passing through several tests, right? So all the things which you have created should be testable. Example over here. Okay, safety features. Safety features, I have airbags. Okay, airbags. Now I have written a test case. Verify if the airbags are out in less than 30 milliseconds of a car crash. Okay, so there should be specific metrics should be created for each testing for each of the components. Okay, suppose this one for a car battery as well. The car should get charged within 1.5 hours something. Okay, so all the things which are created within the project should be testable. Next is prioritize. Of course, you have to prioritize what will be developed first in the car and what will be developed last. Last is understandable. Of course, you have to write as a business analyst. You know several skills and several terms which another business analyst can understand, but another stakeholder or common man cannot understand probably. So all the things which you are mentioning in your work should be of a very common terminology. It should be very easy to understand. Okay, so these are the characteristics which a business analyst should focus on to proceed with the verification activities. Next two elements are verification activities and checklist, and both of them go hand in hand. Okay, if you are working in a motor company, a company would already had a few cars launched before that, the petrol car, diesel car. So they should be having some already having some checklist that you have to see all these quality parameters before you launch a new car. Okay, so those type of things we can use in our this project for e-vehicle as well. Okay, so we can use a checklist for our second element, that is verification activities. So using all the 9 characteristics which we have mentioned from atomic to understandable, and using the checklist, a business analyst has to perform all the verification activities to see that whatever work which we are doing as a business analyst in our project with respect to requirements and designs, okay, that is following all the quality standards. Okay, quality standards of the organization, quality standards of the country as well. Okay, so that's the reason we do this task of verifying requirements. During this task, we have to take care of one guideline, that is requirement lifecycle management tool. Again, this is completely manual work. As a business analyst, you do several things on your documentation. Okay, if I talk about this matrix, I verify this entire matrix to check whether all the quality standards are met. So I'm doing something in my documentation. So again, after doing my task, I have to store somewhere so that all the stakeholders, all the management who have access to those folders can verify or refer your work. Okay, so that's why you have to take care of all the guidelines which are mentioned over here. Next is the techniques. There are 4 techniques. We won't go into much detail, but I will just like to mention the item tracking. At the moment, we just had a discussion about the checklist. Okay, checklist is again a set of items which you have to refer and compare with your work to see that it is meeting the quality standards. So that's the reason one of the technique is item tracking, whether all the items which are required to build an e-car is mentioned in our work or not. Okay. Again, stakeholders. Again here, all the stakeholders are involved. You can, as a business analyst, you can involve each and every stakeholders during this task, because probably you don't know how much should be the charging time, or all these parameters probably you don't know, or you are confused. So it is important that you, as a business analyst, you reach out to those stakeholders, get all those information, get it corrected, and get it again verified by them. So at the end, this task, you can involve each and every one. I hope it is clear till now with respect to verify requirements. Shall we move ahead?
Yes, we can move over. Yes, let's move.
Thank you. Third task is validate requirements. So, frankly speaking, when I was going through this course some years back, I was getting confused with verify and validate, because in the actual questions which are coming from IIBA, they try to confuse you between verify and validate. So verify, we have already seen, a business analyst checks his work of requirements and design to see whether the quality standards has been met. Okay, now what is validate? Validate is that we check the work which we have done till now, whether it supports the objective or the goal of this project. Okay, now our goal of the project is to build an e-car. Okay, so as a business analyst, you have to verify whether the work which we have done till now, that is the metrics which we have created, or the designs of the car which we have created, is it aligned, or is it supporting the goal which we are going to achieve? Okay, so we have to see we are within our boundary. So if you see the input, again, it is coming from the first task, that is requirement specified and model. Okay, it is not important that once you verify, then only you can validate. You can perform the verification and validation task in parallel. That's why it's not mentioned that requirements is verified. The input is from the first task, that is requirement specified and model. And once you complete this task of validation, you see the output is that requirements are validated. Now, again, validation means the work which you have done till now, does it support, will it help to create a product which your company is aiming to achieve? Okay, so that's the goal of this task. Now, these are the three things which we have to take care while doing this task. Okay, three elements. One is to identify assumptions. Okay, let me give an example. Since this Rio Motors is a company who wants to launch an e-car into the Indian market, and this is the first car which will be launched in the country. Okay, so this is the first of the type, and we don't know whether it will be successful, whether it will be a failure, how the customer will react, what will be the feedback. Okay, so we have to take some of the risk. We have to manage all type of risk based on some assumptions. So we have to assume some things that, yeah, once this product is launched, the customer would be happy. 100 million revenue would be generated within 1 year. So all these type of assumptions, risk, and all those things we have to take care, or we have to mention it while validating. Okay. Second thing is define measurable evaluation criteria. Okay. Again, we are launching a product, okay, to gain some benefits out of it. Okay, first benefit is for the customer, that the customer would be happy that they would be getting an electric car, which will save them some money compared to petrol or diesel, which is quite expensive. Second benefit is that it's environment friendly. Third benefit is for the company, that is, they will be launching a new product. The revenue will grow based on once the customer base is increased. So we have to design or maintain a metrics for evaluation criteria for all the successes which we are anticipating for this project. Okay, so we have to identify all those metrics one by one for this project. And third is that evaluate alignment with the solution scope. Now, what is solution scope? We have a boundary. We are right now focusing on e-car only, electric car only. We are not focusing on petrol car, diesel car, or based on gas. We are not focusing on motorbikes or any other vehicle. We are just focusing on e-car only. So we have to validate whether the work which we have done over here, does it support, does it help? Once this requirement is realized, will it help to create an e-car? It should not that a company is aiming to create an e-car and my requirements are to create a bike or an aeroplane. So we have to align what we want to achieve, what are our boundaries or the scope, and see whether our work is limited and focus on those elements, so that this project will definitely be a successful one after it is launched into the market. So we have to validate all these type of work and see whether our work is aligned with our objective or the goal. There are some guidelines which a business analyst has to take care while doing this task. Again, the first guideline is the business objective. That's what I said. We have to keep in mind the objective. That objective is we have to launch an e-car into the market. Second is again future state description. Future state means once the project is launched, how the car will behave, or how the car will be used by the customer. All those type of future state description. Potential value. Now I just mentioned 3 benefits: one for the customer, one for environment, one for the company. So we have to create an approximate value and show it to the management that yes, these are the potential values once we launch this product into the market. And fourth, again, the solution scope. We just have to focus on e-car. Rest all other are out of scope. Techniques. There are 7 techniques, but again, we won't go much into the detail, but maybe I'll just again mention acceptance criteria or evaluation criteria. We have to set a criteria that these are the parameters based on which the car would be launched into the market. Item tracking, again, since there would be several cars launched already, so there would be already a checklist or an item tracker using which we can validate, so we can reuse them. So these are some of the techniques which a business analyst can use for perform this validity of requirements. This is just for validity of requirements. Again, all the stakeholders can be involved. Again, since you are doing your work for some documents, it could be that you are confused for one requirement. For suppose for suspension, steering and brakes, you are not sure. So you go to again back to the one of the stakeholders, one of the important stakeholders or a designer, and get information from them and update it into your document. So you as a business analyst, again, you can go to each and every stakeholder within your organization and get their feedback, they get their opinion, and complete your task up to the highest efficiency that yes, once my validation of requirement is done, it is a baseline, it is ready to go to the next level. Okay, so that's the reason all the stakeholders can be involved anytime during this task of validating requirements. Is it clear, this topic of task of validation of requirements?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now this task, define requirements architecture. Now this is the fourth task of this knowledge area, that is for requirement analysis and design definition. Now I will say this fourth task will go hand in hand with the first task, that is to specify and model requirement. In specify and model requirement, we have a set of requirements and we create a matrix or a design. Okay. Now this task of requirement architecture just focuses on requirements architecture itself. Okay. So now, as I said, for this project, I have created this matrix. Okay. Now, in other terms, matrix is also called as an architecture. So I have created this requirements architecture. Okay. So now let's go on to several. What is the purpose? Okay. Now the purpose is the requirements collectively support one another to fully achieve the objectives. Now, what does it mean? Okay. In the first task of specified model requirement, we had created this matrix. Okay. Without thinking the relationship between each other. There was no relation between engine and transmission with safety, interior, exterior. Okay. But now we have to create an architecture, because at the end we are creating a car. Okay. And in the car, each and everything will be assembled together. Okay. It is not possible that we will leave out the exterior or interior or safety aspect and just build a car and launch it into the market. Okay, there would be relations or link between them. Okay, if we start building a car, okay, first we will start with building an engine and the interior parts, all the interior parts. Then we will build the exterior parts. Then we will add the safety aspects. Then we will add the comfort and the convenience, and then we will add the entertainment. So these all requirements are related to each other. It should not that first I will start with entertainment and communication, and then I will think about building of engine or the safety aspects. So all these requirements are related to each other, and that's what architecture is about. Okay, so requirements collectively support each other to fully achieve the objective. Objective is to build an e-car. So each and every requirement should support each other properly so that our objective is met within time, within budget, and at the end it is a good product. Okay, so if we see the inputs, there are three inputs. One is the information management approach. Information management approach means it defines how your work, how good your work is, or how a business analyst information has been stored and accessed. Okay, as a business analyst, you have done so much work till now. Okay, you have created a matrix, you have created a design, but you have to store it somewhere. Okay, so that's why information management approach is over here. Requirements, any stage. Again, as I said, it is not that once you verify the requirement or once you validate the requirement, then only you can start this task. As I said, this task can be started or run in parallel with the first task, that is to specify and model requirement. That's why the requirements mentioned over here is any state. It is not important that you do something that is verification and validation and then start this. The third input is the solution scope. Again, you have a boundary. You have to focus on our scope. That is the e-car only. We are not focusing on car which is petrol, diesel, or motorbike or anything. Just focus on our scope. That's it. At the end, you have a requirements architecture. That is, once you complete this task, you have an architecture ready with you. Okay, let's move ahead. Elements. Now, first element is requirement viewpoints and views. Again, as I said, in the first task, we had mentioned the abstract of the requirement. That is, not each and every stakeholder is interested in the entire work. Okay, so you have to create a small abstract. That is, you can also say small viewpoints. Now, as I said, one stakeholder just needs safety perspective. He is only interested in safety. And if you want to get your work review, you just have to create a viewpoint of this entire sheet. This is the entire sheet. You can just create a simple viewpoint of this safety aspect and show it to him or her. That yes, you only get the things which you want. So out of the entire work, if you just pick up a small piece of work, that is viewpoint. And the actual work, that is the actual requirement, that is the safety requirements or airbags, that is called a view. Okay, so again, out of the entire work, if you just pick up small piece of work, that is a viewpoint. And if you dig in more detail, that is into from the safety to airbags, that is the view. Okay, so you can create several viewpoints based on several stakeholders and their interest. Second element is the template architecture. Okay, suppose you are working in this motor company, and that is in world since last 50 years. They have launched multiple cars till now, multiple vehicles till now. So they would have a standard set of mature architecture into the organization. That once a new car has to be launched, that they have to follow this template. They have to follow this type of architecture. So again, as a business analyst, you have to understand what your organization is following from so many years, and how the previous business analyst or previous projects have created architectures for the requirements. And again, you have to follow them. Okay, so you have to abide to all the standards which are part of your organization. Third, again, is completeness. We have been focusing on this word completeness because at the end, it should not that something is missing and at the end you realize that, yeah, I missed this part and I have to go back again and redo the things. Probably it will take a good amount of effort again to reach to a particular completeness level. So as a business analyst, you have to see whether the metrics or the architecture which you have developed, the relations which you have developed within requirements is complete. It should not have any ambiguity or confusion. Okay, once your requirement is baseline, then the actual development of car will start. So it is very important that your work is proper, complete. It will, of course, will have a good impact or a bad impact on the work which will be coming in future. So that's why it's important to see whether your work is complete. The fourth option, the fourth element again is relate and verify requirements relationships. As I said, these are several requirements, and in the first task, we have not mentioned anything with respect to relationships. But here we have to see that everything is related to see that we have a proper architecture. It should be consistent. The relation should be consistent. Relation should be complete. It should not create any confusion or unambiguity. It should have all the necessary relations throughout the requirement. This is just a small extract of an e-car. Probably in a practical world, there would be hundreds and thousands of requirements. And if we don't have a proper relationship between each and every requirement, then the project might be in a chaos at the later stage. So it is very important that each and every relationship is thought about for each and every requirement. And at the end, you create a plan based on the relationship. Yes, now this should be the first priority requirement, then this should be the second priority based on the relationship. The last is again business analysis information architecture. Okay, again you are creating an architecture, but also you have to keep a thought that you are creating some information for several other people to refer. So you have to mention all the information up to date in not only just with requirements, with also versioning of your document as well. So okay, suppose first version, I'm working in a business analyst team of 5 people. So first version I have created. Second version Daniel has created on XX date. Okay, third version Sam has created on YY date. All these type of information which a business analyst should take care as well. Okay, so all these type of information is also part of your architecture. So as a business analyst, you have to take care of the structure of all the requirements and its architecture, but also the information which the small information which we have to take care. So these are the 5 elements which are part of this task, that is the defined requirements architecture. While performing this task, there are 3 guidelines or tools. Okay, first is architectural management software. In market, there are several free and paid software or tools using which a business analyst team or an organization can create a very good architecture. Okay, if you just add requirements and give a relation, then automatically a good architecture is arrived for their reference. Next is methodologies and framework. Again, it is important that you follow the framework or the methods which are followed in your organization since so many years. Okay, it should not that your organization or a motor company is following these methods since last 50 years and you come into picture for this project and you suddenly change the entire methods and way of working. So you have to take care of all the things which are followed within your organization or industry. Next guidelines is legal or regulatory information. As again, this is the new topic. Okay, I am launching an e-car in India, and now government has come up that for each and every car which is launched in India, there should be these many specific safety features that it should out of all these 4 features of safety, at least they should each and every car company should provide 2 safety features, that is anti-theft and airbags. So this is regulatory. This is by legal or law that government has given regulatory instructions to each and every company that you have, if you want to launch a car, these many safety precautions or these many features should be there. Okay, so as a business analyst, you have to take care of all these type of regulatory information as well, along with one of the stakeholders, that is regulator. Okay, these are the techniques which a business analyst can use during this task of defined requirements architecture. Again, this is just with respect to requirements and its architecture. So I won't go much again into all the techniques. Again, functional decomposition is one of them. That yes, we have created this matrix. This is the high level requirement. From a root, I create some branches, that is these 4 branches. From this branch, I create 2 small branches. Again, from these airbags, I create 5 branches. So I create a huge functional requirement into small sub requirements. That is, I decompose it into a small branches. So that's why we use one of these techniques in this task. Again, stakeholders, any stakeholders. Till now, we have seen for specify and model requirements, verify requirements, validate requirements, all the stakeholders are involved. Again, over here as well, each and every stakeholder is involved, because you are not having a mature requirement architecture. You are still in work in progress. So you are creating an architecture. So probably you might have some confusion, questions or something. So you can go to any of the stakeholder and ask them and get the information from them and rectify in your work, and again get it reviewed from them. So again, all the stakeholders can be involved over here. Any questions for this topic of defined requirements architecture? shall we move ahead?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now define design options. This is very interesting one because now till now the second task, that is verify requirements, third task, that is validate requirements, fourth task, that is requirements architecture, we just used to focus on requirements. Okay, we have not focused in the first task. We had focus on requirements and designs both. Okay, that is specify and model. Now again we are focusing on models, that is the designs. Okay, so now what designs we have created? Okay, we have created these type of designs. Okay, something like this. It's just for your reference. We have created these designs for our project, which will show it to our management and create a business case that we have created these things. This is how our car will look like. This is the first design. I have, again, as a business analyst, you can create several models of a car, several designs. So you can say this is my second model. Okay, this is my first model, this is my second model. That is my first design and second design. So as a business analyst, you have to define several designs options. Okay, and create some documents and present it to management in the later stage. Okay, let's go through it. Purpose. What is the purpose? That is define the solution approach, identify opportunities to improve the business, allocate requirements and so across solution components. That means you have to finalize how your design will look like. Okay, whether you can improve in your design, whether you can add some new features in your car, allocate requirements with solution components. What is solution components? Let's go back over here. This is the requirement. Okay, engine, fuel and safety, entertainment, and this is the solution component. Fuel, that is car battery. Safety, that is airbags. Okay, over here, okay, safety, that is anti-theft alarm. So these are the solution components. This is the requirement, this is the solution component. Okay, so in this we link our requirement to the actual product which will be developed after building a car. Okay, so a car will be developed, tires will be there, engine will be there, battery will be there. So we have to create a link between our requirements and what will be developed. Okay, so that means we have created a design. Okay, over here, if you see the first picture, we have identified each and every part. Okay, and in our requirement sheet, we have mentioned all those parts over here. Okay, and these parts are linked to a requirement. Okay, so that means we have linked our requirements and design. Okay, so if you see the inputs, first is our change strategy. Now, what is change strategy? Change strategy is the thing which how will we have created a roadmap. Okay, at the start of a project, we have created a roadmap that once we create this requirement, then the actual production of the car will start, then testing will happen, and then we'll launch a product. So this is our change strategy. That means from start of the project till launch. Okay, we have to see in between whether everything is working on plan, everything is feasible, on time, all those things. Okay, second thing is requirement validated and prioritized. Now here it has dependency on our third task, that is requirements which are validated. Validated means our requirements are aligned to the goal or the objective which we want to achieve. Okay, and prioritize means what thing will be produced first into the car, what thing will be produced at the end. Okay, if we see this sheet, probably we have to start with the interior and exterior, and then we can add the engine, the battery, and probably at the end we can add the entertainment and communication, that is some music player and all those things. So that could be the lowest priority. Okay, so if we have all those priorities, we can use it over here. The third input is the requirements architecture, the one which we have just seen in the previous task. Okay, and if once we complete this task of define design options, we get the output, that is design options. Okay, let's move on to elements. Now elements, the first element is define solution approach. Okay, now our aim is to create an e-car, but we are a motor company. Okay, so it is not possible that we will be creating all the things which are required for a car within our organization. Probably we can create engine, the body, and all those things, but a motor company is not the one who creates tires. Okay, so it is important that we approach the other organization. Yeah, that for a car we will create the body and all those things, and you supply us the tires. So that's the reason these are the three things: create, purchase, or both. Okay, create means what all things we can create within our organization. Purchase, that is what all things we can purchase from outside, from other organization, other companies, or both, that is mixture of both. That means in our project we are doing both. That is, we will be creating half of our car within our organization, and the rest of the tires and safety features we will give it to some other company or contract to some other company. It could be possible that a motor company is able to build a car from scratch till tires as well. So that's probably they will be landed into only the category that is create. It could be that some of the entire things will be purchased from outside. So that is purchase. So these are the approaches a business analyst has to take, whether what all things will be developed within our organization and what all things will not be developed within our organization. And we have to find a supplier from outside. Okay. Second element is to identify improvement opportunities. Now we have done so many things till now, but there is always a chance to improve on our work. We have created this things that we will be offering these many features, but it could be that we can offer one more feature into the car. We can offer along with car battery, we can also offer a petrol or a diesel tank as well to make it hybrid. We can also add something which will help to gain more satisfaction for the customer. So we have to identify small things in each of our requirements, in each of our attributes, whether how can we improve. Example, if the airbags, our test case is that if the airbags are, it should be out, the airbag should pop out within 30 milliseconds of a car crash. But can we improve that? Can we make it 20 milliseconds? Can we improve that? So we have to identify all these type of opportunities to make a product much more better for the customer. Okay, we can go an extra mile to improve our product before the launch. The third element is the requirements allocation. Again, it's the same point which we discussed in the last task, in the last slide. That is allocating requirements to solution components. Okay, over here, these are the solution components, and these are the requirements. For fuel, car battery is the solution components. For safety, airbags is the solution components. Again, these are the solution components. Anti-theft alarm, device, number of airbags, all those are solution components, and this is our requirement. Once you create a link between them, you can identify in your design itself whether everything is covered in your work or not. So if you create a link, or if you allocate all the requirements to the solution components, then you get a very clear picture whether you are moving into a proper direction. Now the next element is to describe the design options. Now we can create so many options for a car, which will look something like this one, something like this, probably 3-4 models. So we have to describe each and every model, their pros and cons, their features, their good things, their limitations, all those things. So as a business analyst in this task, we should not just define it, but we also have to describe it. Because at the end, you have to present all these 3-4 models of a car to your management and convince them that, yes, out of these four models, the third model is the one which will give us maximum benefit. But of course, to convince them, you have to have all the information which is visible. So you have to describe each and everything. So that's the element that is describe design options. During this task, you have to take care of guidelines and tools. So first is the existing solution. Now, at the moment in our project, there is no existing solution. It's a new car. But it could be that we launched the first version of the car. After 2 years, the company says we want to make it a better version. So an existing solution is the one which we have launched in the first place. And so we have to understand what the car used to work into the first launch, and after that how we have to enhance the features of a car. Okay, Second guidelines is the future state description. We have to see what we have to achieve, what is the goal or the objective. Third is requirement trace. That is, traced means allocate. What we have done, we have requirements and these are the solution components. So we have just traced, that is created a link or a relationship between requirements and solution components. And the fourth again is solution scope. A business analyst should keep this guideline in mind throughout the project, that we should not go outside the scope. We have to be within our limitations. These are some of the techniques. We won't go through all the techniques, but one maybe I will mention, that is brainstorming. Now, as a business analyst, you won't work alone. You will work with a team of 4 or 5 people. So the entire team has created this first design, then the second design. So as a business analyst team, you have to discuss it within yourself and come up with all the design options. You have to brainstorm it. You have to have a healthy discussion whether each and every opinion of a person should be heard and taken into the view that yes, what they feel about this first design, what they feel about the second design. And using the opinions, we have to describe each and every design option and at the end create a business case that yes, out of the 4 cars, the third one is the one which will give us maximum benefit to the customer and to the company as well. Okay, so these are some of the techniques which a business analyst should use. Now these are now we don't see all the stakeholders over here. We just see 5 stakeholders. Okay, so first is the domain SME. Domain SME is the one who has in and out knowledge about the project and the industry. So that's why hearing their opinion on the design options, because probably they have worked in this organization since last 5 years, 10 years. So it is important we hear their opinion. Implementation SME. Implementation SME is the one who will actually build a car into the factory. Okay, so it is important that whatever designs which we have built, we have created, we show it to them and to seek their opinions whether it is possible to build this type of model. Third is the operational support. After the car is launched, there would be a team on the ground which will look into the issues and all support of the customer for all the issues which will happen in the car. So of course, they also should be onboarded to hear their opinion as to what they think about all these designs. Fourth is the project manager. Project manager keeps track of the budget, keeps track of the timelines, keeps track of the resources which are available. So it is important that we hear his or her opinion of the project manager as well, because it could be that we are trying to build a car which is out of our budget, or it might take instead of 6 months, it might take 10 months. Okay, and the fifth one is the supplier. Okay, in a motor company, we said that we won't build the tires. We will hire another organization, a tire company, which will provide us the tires. So it is important that we show them the design of a car and ask them whether this type of tires will be available from your organization to us for our cars. And based on that, your design can be finalized. It should not that you finalize your design and then go to the supplier and then the supplier says, no, we can't provide all these things. Okay, so it is important that you onboard all these type of stakeholders on a very early basis. Any questions for this task? Define design options. Shall we move ahead?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is the last task of this knowledge area. Now we have done so many things. We have created a model. We have created a requirement which is specified model. We have verified the requirements. We have validated. We have created an architecture of the requirements. We have also finalized some designs. Okay, 4 designs, suppose. Now we have, as a business analyst, we have to analyze which design is the best one. So we have to analyze which has the biggest benefit for the customer and our organization, and recommend a solution for the management. Yes, out of these 4 designs, we feel that this is the car which we should launch, which will give a highest potential value, and we recommend this solution. Okay, so this is the purpose. We have to estimate the potential value of each design option. Okay, so what is the value of this car after we launch? What will be the potential value or the benefit of this car after we launch? So we have to identify all these type of approximate estimates also establish which one is the most appropriate to meet the enterprise requirements. Of course, we have 4 options, but we also, it should not be on the decision on the management itself. We also have to help them out to take a correct decision. So we also have to see whether out of these 4 options, we feel that the third option of the car is the best one. But it's up to you to finalize or decide. Okay, so at the end, we have to create a business case for each of the designs. Okay, so that's why if you see the inputs, that is, one is the potential value and second is the design option. Design options, which we already saw 3-4 models of the car, and potential values, which we just finished into the last task. That is, for each and every design, we create what would be the benefit, the pros and cons of each model. And at the end, once you complete this task, we saw that, yes, we are able to create a solution which we can recommend to the management. So let's go to the elements. Okay, now we are into the financials. Okay, we have done requirements. We have created several designs. We are ready with our 4 designs of a car. Each and every car has its benefits and limitations. And at the end, one will be the one which will be the chosen one to launch into the market. Okay, but what will be the parameters based on which the management will decide? First one is the expected benefits. Benefits, because we are launching a car. So benefit would be for the customer, that it will be a cost effective compared to petrol and diesel cars. Second is good for environment. Third is the company will benefit because they are launching a car first time. Okay, so all these type of benefits, the risks which are involved, all these things are taken care as a part of benefits. Okay, we have to identify what are benefits once we launch this product. We also have to check whether what will be the cost of manufacturing that car of each of the design. Probably design 1 will cost 1 million. Design 2 will cost 1.1. So all these things we need to take care before we come up with a business case. Third is to determine value. Now we have to see which one gives the highest return with respect to cost versus the benefit. So we have to see which is the win-win situation for the customer and the organization both. Okay. Fourth is to assess design option and recommend solution. Now we have all the approximate financial. We have all the designs ready. We have everything described, all the business case ready. Now we have to create a business case with all the design options and come up with a business case and reach to the management that, yes, we have all these 4 models. We have all the financials with respect to each model, and we feel that the third model will give us the highest benefit. Okay, so come up with some suggestions. At the end, management will take a call on to what they think. But as a business analyst, we have to be on a proactive side and recommend the solution. During this task, we have to take care of the guidelines. First is the business objective. Again, why we are doing this project? To launch an e-car. So are we fulfilling them with the work which we have done till now? So we have to constantly think about that and align our work to the goal and the objective. Future state description. Again, how the car will be launched, how the performance of the car will be once it is launched. So all these type of future state description should be there. Current state description. Probably this is not applicable because it's the first time we are launching a car, but probably it's into another product which is not the first time which is launched. It is just an enhancement. Then the current state description should also be involved. Then the risk analysis result. Since we are launching a e-car first time into the market, it could be a positive venture or it could be a negative one as well. Probably the customer won't accept our product. Probably they are happy with the one which they have. So these are some of the risks which a company should take before launching the product. So that's why risk analysis should be done as a part of business analyst work. Then the last is the solution scope. Again, we have to keep the boundary or the limitations in mind for the project which we are going ahead. These are some of the techniques which a business analyst can use, but I won't go much into detail because of the time constraint. One I will go is the financial analysis. If you see the last one and the first column, the financial analysis. We have all the benefits for each and every design. We have cost, which will be required to manufacture the car for each and every design. So we have return on investment. So we have cost versus benefit ratio as well on all those financial. So business analyst has to take care of the financial analysis as well before recommending a solution to the management, before creating a business case. Okay, so these are some of the techniques which the business analyst should use during this task. Now, stakeholders. Now, almost it's not that all the stakeholders are there, but most of the stakeholders are there over here. Domain SME, because he is the one who is having industry knowledge, who is working on the motor company since a long time. Implementation SME, as I said, it is important that they understand that at the end they have to manufacture the actual car. So it is possible. Is it possible for them or not? Customers, we can create some surveys or a questionnaire with the customers as to what they expect from a car, from an electric vehicle, and we can incorporate into our work, which will of course will benefit the customers. Again, project management, who takes care of the resources, budget, timings, and all those things. End user again is our customer itself. It's not that the customer and end user are different in our project probably. Sponsor, at the moment management is the sponsor who said that launch a car in 6 months within this million of budget. Okay, so we have to see that we are satisfying them with respect to what they have demanded. And the regulator. Okay, so we are launching a car in India, and Indian government has some regulations that before we launch a car, these should be some features, safety parameters should be mandatory in each of the car. So we have to, whether it's good or not, but we have to take care of those things within our first launch itself. So these are some of the stakeholders which we have to take care. Any questions till now for any of the topic?
So,
Anyone?
hi Jatin, as I have already mentioned my question in the chat box, that how did you distinguish between the functional and non-functional requirements?
Okay. Functional requirement is something which will help you to build a product. Okay. It is a functional requirement which is important for building a product. A non-functional requirement is based on how those functional requirements or the solution component will perform. Okay. If you have used a bank app, probably bank app, okay, for any of the banks, okay, you have an app on your mobile. If you enter the PIN, then immediately within few seconds the page displays with all the details. So all these things, whether within how many seconds the page should be displayed, all the things which are quantifiable are non-functional requirements, which are linked with your functional requirements. As said here, the functional requirement is safety, and the non-functional requirement, the solution component of this requirement is airbags, and the non-functional requirement is that the airbags should come out within 30 milliseconds after the car crash. So these are the two differences between functional requirements and non-functional. I hope it is clear.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Any more? Maybe instead of chat,
there is a question in the chat box.
Yeah, you can directly talk over here.
Yeah,
it's
there is a question
difficult to read the chats.
All right, I'll read a couple of chats for you. Okay. Can you explain and cite examples around opportunity and sunk costs?
Sorry. Can you come back again?
Yeah. So the question is, can you explain and cite examples around opportunity and sunk cost?
Opportunity and cost, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, definitely. Let me go back to the presentation. Okay, opportunity is over here. This is the one, right, which you are talking about? Please correct me. All of the improvement opportunities and the cost. Maybe I will just confirm with the one person who is asking the question. Hello, am I audible? Brijesh, am I audible?
Yes. Yeah, you're audible. So there's a question from Suresh. Suresh, if you have, so if you can elaborate on this. It is not about opportunity cost. Okay, Suresh, if you can unmute yourself and directly ask the question, please.
Hi, this is Suresh.
Yeah, opportunity cost and the sunk cost. Okay, these are the two costs which are related to opportunity cost is something if you are not doing something and if you have done something else, then probably what would be the cost. And sunk cost is something which you have done. You have done some work till now, so you have, of course, bear some cost to done those things. Okay, so that's the thing which is sunk cost. Am I clear? Okay, thank you. Maybe any more questions? Okay, I see Hemal has asked financial analysis has to be conducted by BA himself or with stakeholders like finance manager. Okay, so because it is not important that a business analyst himself does the financial analysis. He can of course take help of financial advisor or any financial or account people within the organization. But keeping in mind, business analyst is the one who creates business case. Okay, he is the one who creates business case and approaches the management with all the business case of all the designs which we have created for the car. That is 4 cars. So we have to create business case for all 4 of them. But to create that business case, it is important to understand why we have coming into conclusion that out of these 4 options, the 3rd car is the one which will give maximum benefit. To understand and come to a conclusion that it is important for a business analyst to understand the financials as well. It is not mandatory that he is the owner of the financials as well. But it is important that in his work of business, creating a business case, he understands the financials which are going into the product and mentions them in each of the business case for all the 4 options. So hope, Hemal, okay, great, thanks. Any further question? Okay, if you don't have question, I have 2 questions for you guys. It's a very simple one. Don't get scared. Okay, let's go on to this question. Anyone who has answered, just say in a chat box or just speak it. What needs to be evaluated and compared to one another to recommend a solution option? For potential values, risk analysis result, design options, business rules. Anyone?
There should be design option.
Okay, correct. Well done. Okay, let's move on to the last question. Choose the option which is not the criteria for verification of requirements. If you see in one of the presentation, there were 9.
Complexity.
So okay, perfect. The atomic complete consistent is there. Complexity is not the criteria for verification. Okay, great. So that's it. If you have any questions, then please shoot. Otherwise, I hope this session was helpful and help you in gaining some knowledge. Of course, this knowledge area is if you see, it consists of 30% of exam, and it is the biggest knowledge area. So in an ideal case, if you go in detail, it will take 3 to 4 hours approximately. Not less than that. But I tried my best to finish it within 1 hour, 1 and 1 hour, 15 minutes with the real world example. Hope you can relate it. If you have any still further questions, I'm happy to take care. Still, I think 6 minutes is left. And if not, in future also, if you have any questions, you can connect with Tech Canvas and they will help you out.
Yeah, sure, Jatin. Thanks. Thanks, Jatin. I have shared my email ID in the chat box. So if you have any further questions, you can always reach out to us through that. We'll get the reply on that. Secondly, we have our new CBAP batch scheduled on 7th of August. So anybody is interested, they can contact us, and that would be our evening batch, 7:30 Saturday, Sundays, weekend batch. So you can always contact us for those, for that batch. All right, Jatin, thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for being a wonderful audience. Take care and good luck for your preparation for IIBA exams if you have already started. Thank you. Brijesh, I will just stop the recording and then disconnect it.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Jatin,
Yeah.
yeah, can you
Yes,
just see my question? In the, yeah. So I was just asking that can we log this session in the IIB account for professional development hours?
You can, but it's just 1 hour, and professional development hours, you need, I think, 35 hours, right?
No, 21 for ECBA. I will be.
Okay, yeah, 21, right. So, but you don't have any proof of this course as such. Normally, if you go to any IIBA endorsed education provider, you will get a 21 hour course, and at then you will get a certificate from them that yes, you have appeared for this course and you have completed this 21 hours of course with all the things which is necessary as a prerequisite. So maybe you can check with Brijesh or the Tech Canvas team whether you can use this 1 hour. But out of 21, I think 1 hour is hardly matters. It won't make any difference as such.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.
Okay then. Let's just log off then. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.